Today I'm going to be testing 5 different generation settings files that I've developed for EA Studio, try and find some highly suitable generation settings for EURUSD on the MT5 timeframe in particular. I'll also be providing the best expert advisors from this experiment, so stick around to the end and I will share those. What I've got here, as you can see, is I have 5 EA Studio sessions open, and each has slightly different generation settings. Now, I've run them for 30 minutes. It's not been a long test, and each, you can see, has found 300 strategies. Now, I'll show the default settings first. So the default ones are, we've got always use stop loss and take profit between these 2 ranges. The generator settings, they're all searching for the best balance line stability. So if there's more than 300 strategies, it will look for the best balance line stability, 20% out of sample, 4 entry and 2 exit indicators, and they've run for 30 minutes. And I've just used very basic acceptance criteria, just the default acceptance criteria. So we'll filter them out in the collection. And then for the other 4 variants, I've got the first one over here. It is using, instead of a fixed stop loss, I've allowed this one to use a trailing instead. So we'll see if trailing stop loss maybe works better for the EURUSD. For this one here, everything's a variant on the core settings. So for this one, it's back to the fixed stop loss, but I'm allowing, instead of 4 and 2, we've got more indicators to see if that is to our benefit. For this one here, what I've actually done is, instead of having the default indicators, so the default indicators are available indicators, as we can see here, most of them are turned on, and that's the defaults. However, for this one, I've kind of just put the ones I prefer to use. So accelerator, oscillator, awesome oscillator, Bollinger Bands, CCI, demarker, this channel, the envelopes, force index, and a few here, RSI and stochastic. I'll share these files, so that's all good. And then the last one, we're only relying on, we've got an entry, and then we are only relying on the take profit and stop loss. So how that's done is, by default, this is off. Generate strategies with preset indicators. I've allowed 1 exit indicator, and in the presets, I've said do not exit. So there's no exit. So it's going to take an entry, and it's just going to go by what it's either going to hit the stop loss or hit the take profit, and that's that. So what I am wanting to do now is, as you can see, the last thing that I've done is I have held back a year of data. So I've generated up till a year ago, and I've generated over 4 years of data. So basically we've got 3 years in sample, a year out of sample, and then we've got this final validation period, which we've held back, and we're going to use that to kind of give us an indication of how well it's performed in the future. And so first thing we're going to do, I'll open this one on the large screen. I'm just going to apply a few filters here. So I'm going to, first of all, minimum count of trades. Let's make sure there is 100 trades there. So we get 75 out of the 300 strategies. I'm going to apply minimum R squared of, let's say 70, and minimum return over drawdown. I like that to be at least 1. So we're going to use 170 and 1, right? So in this case, we have 25 out of 30. So let's just go here, and I'm just going to write variation 1, variation 2, variation 3, variation 4, and variation 5, right? So for the core ones, we've got 25 strategies. And this is just going to give us an idea of the number that we can get out. So minimum count of trades, 100. Sometimes it's better to do this at this stage, because if you set too strict criteria, you often don't get anything in the collection to work with. At least we have something to work with here. So that one had 21. So we will record 21 there. Just with the entry and exit rules, there's actually a clear winner there for the count, for initial. Yeah, that's just some initial settings. And that's kind of what we want. Now, the reason I did it that way is because this is a preliminary test. This is a kind of, let's find, not all settings work the greatest for each pair. And this is kind of a test. As I said, I've only run it for 30 minutes. I want to just quickly get a feel for what might work well on EURUSD M15 in particular. So now that we've got that, we've kind of trimmed what we're kind kind of going, these are reasonable settings. These look like good strategies. As you can kind of see, these all look pretty reasonable. I am going to now delete from the collection, right? So let's grab the first one, which is this one. I'll just check that. Yes, this is the first one. And so, yeah, we've deleted these. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to test forward. So how many pass? Because that's important. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to actually add all of these to the portfolio. And we're coming here. I'm going to make sure it's not using the performance filters. And I am going to calculate. How many have we got that are just profitable? So we'll just add the profit factor of 1. 9 out of 25 have been profitable, right? So that's our first one, 9. Okay, 9 of those have been profitable. Let's put that one down. I know that this one with the 65 is the last one, so let's just do the same there. We're going to change the date range from 2024 to 2025. We're going to go back into the collection and we're going to add them all to portfolio. We're going to change the portfolio so that we just have them minimum profit factor 1, and we are going to recalculate. 31 of 65. Okay, so that's these ones down here. 31. 9 out of 25, right? Okay. Equals, let's get those as some percentages of how they've come through. Okay, so clearly what's actually working best for the Euro USD is we've got far more strategies coming through when we just have some entry signals and a simple take profit and stop loss. That's kind of clearly come out as the best. We've got the most strategies and we've got the higher percentage that have actually shown to be profitable in the end. So that's an excellent result and very clear that those are the generation strategies that I want to start with in my generation process. So as I said, it's not great. Well, let's have a look. How would it even if I go to it's this one, right? Okay, so even just trading all of them, we're a little bit under profit factor of 0.8. You can see that the bad ones have kind of meant that it's gone flat kind of thing. If we only trade the good ones forward, but it's not an absolute kind of decimation of the balance. That's just them coming out with no robustness test, nothing. Now in this case, what we're actually going to use is we're going to use this as a robustness test. So out of sample is a very good robustness test. And so in this case, what I'll do is I'll put that back. I will recalculate those. Okay, so we've got 31. I'm going to get rid of the ones that don't move forward well. Now we've got a bunch of good strategies that we actually think are probably pretty good, right? So let's go back here. And so now we're going to put this for the 5 years. I am actually going to download this collection. Yeah, that's fine. You can see that, by the way, I've used Darwin X data. That's who I'm going to be trading on. So it's you always want to use the broker's data to the very least test it and test the strategy. So these are all for Darwin X, which is inbuilt data into EA Studio. And so if I now get rid of that, I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to use EA Studio's validator to pull those in, and I want to use 20 sample. This is going to let me see on the charts the 1 year pure out of sample after the inbuilt out of sample. So it's going to let me see that validation period. So now what we can see here, we'll resolve these correlations too, because now we're looking for some good strategies to trade. So what we can see here is this is the data that EA Studio saw initially, and this is that 1 year's data we held back. And I'm looking at the kind of characteristic of things and going, okay, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. A lot of these have continued to trade pretty well. I'm sure there's some that haven't, and manually we can prune a few. This one's been flat for ages, don't like it. This one's had a big drawdown pretty recently, don't like that either. I'm going to get rid of that one. It's okay, but it's not the best balance line. Don't like that, right? A bit flat lately, not great out of sample, even though it was profitable. Pretty flat. It looks good. That one we'll get rid of. That one's been pretty flat of late. That one's better. Yeah, Okay, so now we've preened some out. So now we've got a collection of, let's just make it, what have we got? We've got 16 strategies, cool. I'll download that as well. It's always good to just download your work, just save the collections just in case you do something silly. And so now I'll just maybe explain that not all strategies, like I said before, we have performed no robustness testing other than out of sample itself is a pretty good robustness test, right? And so I'd be happy certainly to put all of these strategies on a demo account, let them trade for a while, and if they trade well, I'd be happy that some robustness has been performed. But let's have a look at other things we can do. So in EA Studio, we can see how it performs on maybe some other data. Let's have a look at Black Bull. Okay, so that one, I don't love that one just because it's trading very differently on two different brokers. So I'd probably get rid of that one. That's trading pretty differently, but pretty well on all of them. This one's one that I quite like the look of, right? We've got a fixed stop loss and take profit, so it's pretty much got a nearly 2-to-1 take profit to stop loss ratio. It's using a couple of filters and a signal, and yeah, okay, this one looks okay. So I regularly share my strategies, so if you don't want to miss any of those, then I'd suggest you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content. I'm going to provide the strategy I've just shown and downloaded to all users for free. So if you use the link in the description, you will be able to download that and do as I'm doing with it, which is put it on a DarwinX demo account and see how it trades for maybe a period of about a month. And if I like what I see, then I will then move that to a live account, depending on its performance. For VIP users, I am actually going to take that collection that I had there and I'm going to perform robustness tests on all of them to find the best ones. So the 16 there to work with, I would expect at least half of them have a good chance of showing suitable robustness that I'd be willing to trade them. So I'm going to do that process off the screen, and I will be sharing those, all of those expert advisors with VIP users. If you're interested in using EA Studio, there is a 15-day free trial. If you come here to the Academy and if you go to packages, trading software, this will pop up. It's got certain packs. So you've got the expert advisor studio, but for just a little bit more money, you can actually get EA Studio as for FSB as well. EA Studio is normally 1,490 euros. You can get a great starter pack here with some extra features. The one I always kind of recommend, you can see it highlighted here, is getting an FSB Pro in as well. Those software partner very well together, and you also get Express Gen. So that's exceptional value in my opinion. And you should be able to get a free trial if we go to Expert Advisor Studio here. So test it for free, and you'll get a 15-day free trial where you can, full functionality free trial. So that's worth doing first. Also, please check out the video to my side for more expert advisors, and trade safe for now. See you later.